Go for it.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Yes, I know it's a pretty cliche introduction, but maybe that's just because this quote was part of the script. On July 20th, 1969, and America just won the space race by landing a man on the moon, but did we really? I'm here to tell you that this event was completely staged by the United States government just to try and let the world know that we had the upper hand over Russia's space program. This is important because this was a monumental event in world history, but the truth is we're living in a lie. Consequently, this cover-up could change everything that you've read in your history books. Go ahead and call me crazy, but a waving flag on the moon, which has been proven to have no atmosphere, and a landing module made primarily of aluminum alloy not burning up in an atmosphere, where temperatures well exceed that moment's melting point. Sorry, but I'm not buying it. We really want to set our sights on Mars when we haven't even reached our own moon, and there are plenty of statistics to back it. There have been many discrepancies during interviews with members of NASA which prove the moon landing to be a hoax. It's fair to say there's some very shady information within NASA and our government. It's a very hard topic to hop on board for most because most Americans refuse to believe anything that would slander the integrity of our great nation, but I believe we deserve the truth. This topic is important to me personally because it's something my father is passionate about and could spend hours upon hours proving to someone that we never truly went to the moon. Today I'll be sharing 5 main reasons why the moon landing was a hoax. These reasons include the extreme temperatures of our atmosphere, the Van Allen belts, the waving flag, the lack of a crater from a landing module, and duplicate backdrops, which I'll explain later. So first off, for my visual, this is the layers of our atmosphere on Earth. The bottom is the troposphere, and then it goes to the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. So as you can see in the thermosphere, that's about where spacecrafts would be. But the thing is, spacecrafts can make it up out of the thermosphere, but a landing module coming back from the thermosphere just doesn't make sense. So as I mentioned earlier, NASA claims to have recovered the same exact landing module from the moon landing, and where it is now displayed in the Smithsonian at Washington, D.C. At the museum, the exhibit states that the module is made up of aluminum alloy, copper nickel alloy, and heat-resistant glass. All these materials' melting points are reached in the thermosphere, not to mention the exosphere, which reaches even higher temperatures, as you can see from the visual here. So how could not only the module be intact, but the astronauts that went on this mission as well? The next major talking point is the Van Allen belts. According to www.nasa.gov, there are 2 donuts of seething radiation that surround Earth called the Van Allen radiation belts have been found to contain a nearly impenetrable barrier that prevents the fastest, most energetic electrons from reaching Earth. With the information that we have of these Van Allen belts, it proves that no human could pass through this area of space. Yet we sent a manned mission to the moon, and not only that, but we returned them home safely, meaning that we had to pass through these belts twice, when only these probes have been past these belts. My next talking point is the waving flag. This argument is probably one of the most common of this conspiracy theory. As the picture shows behind me, the flag appears to be waving. The thing is, for a flag to be waving, there has to be some sort of presence of wind. And for those of you that don't know, to create wind or any type of weather in an ecosystem, there has to be at least an atmosphere, which the moon does not have. This leads me to believe that this was created on a set with the power of a fan. It seems far-fetched, but when you really think about it, it becomes more believable. The fourth argument I have is the lack of a crater from the landing module. So as you can see from the visual here, the landing module seems to have landed just perfectly to where it shows no sign of hard impact from the landing. It's very hard to believe that with the technology that we had in 1969 that we could have completed a perfect path to the moon's surface where it didn't leave a crater from a hard impact. Everything about the moon landing is starting to sound a little bit too good to be true. And my last argument is one that I found recently from www.listverse.com. It is the duplicate backdrop theory. And as you can see from the PowerPoint here, these are pictures from both the moon landing and Apollo 15. And they were 2 completely different missions. And if you look at the background, you can see that both these photos have the exact same background here. And these backgrounds are exactly identical, and let's just say it sounds pretty improbable that they landed both a rover and the landing module from the moon landing in the exact same spot. To me, this was one of the most interesting arguments of the conspiracy. Personally, is what led me to fully believe that the moon landing was a hoax. And then I also included this video. It's basically a NASA member saying that we don't have the technology to go back to the moon because it was actually.
Read between the lines. Take a listen.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that humans do. The first step should be going back to the moon for a number of technical reasons and exploration reasons, and then after that, Mars, maybe high orbit in Venus atmosphere, maybe going to Europa. There's all kinds of targets to go to, places of interest in our solar system. The only limit to a human future is in our own imaginations.
So that video I thought was pretty interesting. I found it a couple days ago, but I mean, he kind of just contradicts himself. He basically says we can't go to the moon, but then again he says our limitations are only our imagination. So that's what I was talking about when I was talking about there's some pretty major discrepancies with NASA. But anyways, in conclusion, I've covered many very good reasons why I believe the moon landing was a hoax. To reiterate, those reasons were the following: the extreme temperatures of our atmosphere, the Van Allen belts, the waving flag, the lack of a crater from a landing module, and duplicate backdrops. Like I stated earlier, this is a very hard idea to grasp, let alone believe it, but I hope that the information I've shared with you, that you can hop on board. In the end, everyone believes what they want to believe, and that's why conspiracy theories are so interesting to share with people. And I hope that this one not only informed you, but entertained you as well. Thank you for your time.